Hello again, YouTube. Welcome to another in this series of character intro videos. Today we are gonna take a look at Robin Mask, everyone's favorite Chojin professor, Sir British Knight Team Chojin Robin Mask. He has one of the most maybe notable fights of this kind of batch of fights. So he's definitely very popular, even beyond like this. He's one of the most popular of the idol Trojans, and they basically reward that by giving him a very cool fight this arc. Maybe didn't go what Robin fans would have liked, but I'll try to not talk about that too much, especially if you're watching this watching the anime, right? So in terms of giving that promise to myself that I want to make this more intro length and not very in depth. Let's just jump straight into it. I will try to like not get into the weeds too much with this character, right? And I think like this is the perfect time to talk about that a bit because Robin Mask, his whole deal, he's very simple but strong. So how is Robin Mask in MGP2? He's a very straightforward character. I think like a great beginner character because he doesn't have a lot going on, but he's still very effective, right? Robin Mask's most notable feature is his jab string. He has like a AAA jab string, which is kind of excellent. His jab is 11 frames, which is quite fast, and so you can kind of just like mash it out. And this is a fully natural combo jab string, which is quite rare in this game. Not a lot of 3-hit jab strings are natural combo like that. And this ends on a medium stun, and this leaves Robin +9 on hit, which is actually really good. This means Robin can just in scrambles get his jab in and then just finish at the string. He's now +9 in your face, and this is great because then on hit you can like kind of go for mix-ups like doing it on hit and then into like another one, or doing it and then going for like a throw, for example. He basically has a lot of different options to do stuff on hit like that, and then once people are getting familiar with that, they can then have other strings to mix it up, like doing jab jab 6A, like that's like this slower like big swing that doesn't combo, but then can be used to like mix up with the AAA, right? So a lot of kind of like simple but really strong stuff like that. He has a not a lot of throws that like don't side switch, but he has like a pretty good throw that actually like does good damage and on some OTG. In general, Robin Mask, I wouldn't really call him like a high damage character necessarily, but a lot of his hits just have individually high damage for some reason. Like this 6A, for example. It's just like this mid poke that does 56 damage, right? That's pretty solid. 56 damage is like 5% for the average character's health, more or less. Unless I completely messed up my math, like that's about 5%, which is really nice. And then that's also like a natural string, right? 6A is a natural string. You can charge cancel it to make you I think like plus like 3 or so or something like that. +6, yeah. Like this is +6 on charge cancel. So this is a good. So Robin has like some pretty good neutral tools between just an excellent jab string, between having like this kind of big, pretty like not a high hit stun but good damage kind of like long reaching poke. So he's just like a great at playing like kind of like MGP fundamentals. Maybe not so much like what you see with like say Kinnikuman or with Brocken, where you're not doing so much of the whole I'm doing a heavy stun into a throw for reasons I'll get to more a bit later. But as for that, I'm gonna play more neutral. I'm gonna work in and out of the people's ranges. I'm gonna basically just trade better than you. Robin is great at doing that. Robin's kind of characters who is kind of like what he wants to be doing in this game is like be in your face, kind of have like this like slugfest where you're just kind of trading hits because not that he has high health or high damage, but just he has these high individual hits that he kind of just devolve into a slugfest where you're kind of just hitting each other back and forth. Robin kind of ends up coming up on top just because his damage output on singular hits are like very good. Just between like this or between like that, right? It quickly ends up, and that's really nice. He has pretty easy combos as well. He is able to, of course, has his famous tower bridge. It's one of his special throws here, but you honestly never really use this one because this is his kind of worst out of his like 3 or 4 special throws. Instead, you'll mainly use it as his air throw because he does have tower bridge and air throw. So thankfully, you're still gonna see tower bridge a lot, which is nice. And that's how you're gonna end all the juggles. Right? So you can do like basic juggles like that, and then into an OTG gives you like solid damage, right? So it's a pretty solid air throw. And then like more complicated juggles, you can do something like this, right? And that gives you more damage into an OTG. So there's like some learning curve there if you want, where you can start with like the more basic stuff and then pick up like slightly more complicated juggles, and you can kind of go pretty far with that. That's I think mainly Robin in a nutshell. He's just a character with pretty good damage output. Maybe like not the most over top combos or crazy stuff out there. He's just a character with overall like about like decent damage, decent frame, solid like really good frame data, really good like pokes and stuff like that, right? Because you can just do stuff like this into like his Robin special first special throw, right? That does like a solid chunk of damage into a little OTG. He has some stuff. Where Robin falls short is that it's maybe kind of all he's got. For a character whose whole deal is being like the smartest good guy out there, he's kind of like a drug character. Like he's kind of very straightforward in this game. He doesn't have a lot going on, which is maybe like a little bit weird considering the character. But he's just like extremely straightforward, and that does mean that once people like are more used to Robin, once they're used to what you're doing, of just like doing all of the things that he does well, and they play around it, it can become a lot harder to win with Robin. Definitely a character who feels maybe very strong when you're like starting out, but as you play more and more people who are more used to Robin, he can kind of feel a lot harder to win with because he just doesn't have that much going on. You can then rely on like some really gimmicky stuff, like he has like this heavy stun move that you can like cancel before it's active, so you can basically like fake people out like that. Lots of kind of gimmicks like that. Robin has like a lot of gimmicks, stuff like maybe like this like launcher that you can like cancel to like pick up off of it, which is like kind of cool, but it's not great. And most of his special moves are also kind of like gimmicks. He has a fire breath special, I guess. That's it's good for like for corner pressure mainly, but otherwise it's a little bit gimmicky. He has like this fire tournament that's like way too slow to really be very useful. So a lot of specials that I think unfortunately maybe more gimmicky than actually good. Some of his other weaknesses, like there's like a few things about him that's a bit frustrating and don't really click in as well as you will think. His launchers are really slow, right? I showed up that he has some pretty cool juggles, like you can do something like that, right? You can do like juggles like that, but unfortunately like the juggles themselves are slow. 6A I believe is like over 20 frame startup, which is kind of awful. It's 27 frame startup. He has like this 5S that launches, but that's also quite slow at like 24 frames. Even like his fastest launcher, unironically, is that little knee that he has at 20 frames. But it's very difficult to juggle off of because of this long like recovery, even if you try to cancel it. Like if you get it, if you make it hit a bit late, you can kind of like juggle into like a jab string. If I can get it. Yeah, there you go. So you can pick it up, but it's kind of like really awkward because of just like the long wither cover, right? So yeah, for example, like you look at the fire spin, you see that at the corner it does like this like little like juggle and it looks like really neat, right? But if you try like juggle like combo into it, so you have to do something like this, right? It's just way too slow that you can just roll out of the way. So it's kind of unfortunate. It's like pretty neat for like some like tech traps maybe. But it's like a bit more like esoteric advanced stuff that I promise that I won't really get into in these like intro videos, right? Of course, the other really kind of cool thing about Robin that maybe you might have seen is that he does have a launching heavy stun throw. If you can do it, off of a heavy stun, he can basically go into this like launching throw, and that's like kind of cool because he can kind of pick up off of that, right? And that's like a pretty easy way to see. Oh wow, throws can become other things in this game, and you can do like a cool, launch throw into like a juggle, and it does like a lot of damage, right? I didn't even do like the good string there, right? Let me see if I can do it with a better string. Yeah, right? If you do this, into that, into like the OTG, that's 420 damage. And that's really good damage. But so that's one launcher that he has. But unfortunately, his heavy stun options are kind of rough. Besides like this running attack, which is it's good, but it's kind of telegraph. Right? Because like this is like 19 frame startup, it's not bad, but it's kind of telegraphed. Most of his heavy stun options are just like not very good. He has this again like this kind of dumb looking spin that's very slow and very gimmicky. He has this drop kick which you literally can't combo off of. And I'm probably forgetting a few others that I'm not even remembering. And here's a few that are like, not natural strings. Like this, the one time I hit this jab thing is like kind of nice, right? But it's kind of more so at the end of strings, so you kind of have to go for mix-ups off of them. But ultimately, even his best heavy stuns are not very plus, which is unfortunate because this is like this throw is like actually like a bit slow. So comboing into it, if the opponent mashes out of the heavy stun enough, it's actually kind of difficult, right? It's gonna be an interesting, pretty simple. Yeah, I would say he's got like a very simple, very like, but a relatively like effective game plan. Right? It's like not a lot going on, very like no frills in that regard, which can kind of be a downside because then if people already kind of have your number, it's kind of hard to push against that. But it's not a deal breaker, definitely. Robin is still more than functional. I think also mentioned how his jab string, for as good as it is, unfortunately it doesn't punish throws. It works on like some characters, like kind of specific. It works on like the really big characters, but unfortunately on most characters, his jab string does not punish throw, which is again unfortunate because if you do this, right, as you can see, like they just whiffs. Instead, his throw punishment is with 6A. Like, that's like his throw punishment, 6AA. Which is still actually really decent. Like, that's still like 98 damage while being like plus on their face, right? So that's actually like not bad at all. But it's not his, goated infamous jab string, right? Beyond that too, I guess his options to like throw crushes are amazing. Like his two-way is kind of mediocre. I think I've talked about it in like a few other videos about how good it is to have like a good like local middle two-way. Robin's is kind of not very good because of how long it takes to recover. He has stuff like his 8A and that's also kind of like typical 8A. But I don't think he has any other like throw crush option that he can just throw out there. Not like someone like Ramen Man, Kinnikuman, or stuff like that. I will add one like kind of like esoteric out there stuff just because this is one of my pet peeves with this character, and that's like he has like a really weird cancel window. I can just tell like how this is gonna get really out there, but I think we're doing good on time, so I'll harp on this a little bit. He has like a really weird cancel window on his like jab, right? So that watch this, right? A lot of characters, right? Easy to combo into like the special throw is you do like a rope bounce, jab, a special throw, right? Actually, let me set the opponent to tech throws as well, so you can maybe see this a bit better. But for some reason, Robin, like if Robin does like a rope bounce into like jab throw, that will work, right? But for some reason, his jab has a much later special cancel window than like a regular cancel window. So if you do something like this into like jab special throw, it actually won't combo because it just cancels later, right? So, and that's like a problem that a couple of Robin's buttons have, like doing this in like 6A throw, that like a normal throw that works. But if you do this into 6A special throw, oops. But if you do this into 6A special throw, that doesn't combo because again the cancel window is slower. You can do draw special throw for sure. Like that's always something you can do, right? Yeah. This is something that's like surprisingly like you don't notice until you look at the frame data and you go, oh, that's how that works. The one button that Robin has to bridge into special throw is 4A. Which is not bad at all, but it's definitely like kind of weird that he has like this issue where like some of the buttons like just don't work for some reason, right? Like 4A special throw works. At least it's a bit strict, but it should work if you do it like properly. I believe, unless I'm just lying. I'm pretty sure this works. There we go. Yeah, you can make it work if you cancel it properly. But yeah, his other buttons that if you combo them, like if you cancel them the special throw, they don't work, unfortunately. Which is a shame because his 6A is easily his best like light stun move like bridge into it, right? Like this is like a chunky 56 damage move, so we can do this in 6A into special throw. That would be really nice, but they don't let him have that. All he gets is just this 4A and then trying to combo into that. It's not bad at all. It just takes some practice. And honestly, 42 damage isn't bad at all. It's just kind of like they kind of trip you up because most characters you will just do jab special throw instead, but this character you have to do 4A special throw. Right? Very minor pet peeve. Ran over. I just thought that was worth mentioning because like that is one of the things about Robin that does kind of like rustle me. But yeah, that's kind of his thing where like his launches are slow and then his heavy stuns are not very plus. So even the couple pretty good launchers that he have, the heavy stun throw is like a pretty good launcher, but even accessing that is like kind of difficult just because of how slow his heavy stuns are, right? But if you can get it, right? Again, that's not natural string. If you're able to get like this launch, natural damage is really nice. And I didn't drop it because that's another pet peeve of mine that I'm not gonna get into because I promised maybe like one digression per video. So yeah, that's kind of Robin Mask. I know I'm ending this on a sour note, but overall he's really solid. He's not bad at all compared to some of the other characters that I've done like in the series. He's definitely one of the better ones. Not as good as Springman or God Bless Mountain, but I think next to those characters that I've mentioned, I think he's kind of right up there in terms of the characters that I've covered in this video so far. So definitely, if you're a Robin Mask fan, and of which there are a lot of, this character like is easily one of the most popular characters in this game, at least in Japan. Give him a shot. He's like not bad at all, and it's very easy to like pick up, very intuitive to learn. Has like a lot of very simple to understand strong tools like his jab string and his like 6A poke, right? So that's really nice. As always, I'm gonna end off with a demonstration of his supers. He doesn't even have two supers. All he has is just like one super, and then the super becomes a different animation and does more damage when you use it at the ropes, right? That's the only difference there. So his mission super is the Robin special, but for reals this one. Unfortunately, this gives you like no OTGs. And then his new rope super is the Rope Work Tower Bridge. Shout out to the Scramble for the Throne. This one lets him do an 8 OTG for a lot of damage, and I missed it. Yeah, okay. You can get 8A. I know that for sure. But yeah, that's Robin Mask. That's kind of it for now. He had like a really cool fight. So I'm sure that won over a lot of new fans. So definitely maybe give him a try if you're interested in the character, right? So that's Robin Mask. Again, I don't know what the pacing of these videos coming out will be with with the way the anime is going, but whether like it's gonna be like this next week or the week after that or the week after that, I don't know. The next character up should be Warsman. So if you're a Warsman fan, you've been waiting for that. Look forward to the next intro video to this. This has been Fish Raps, and keep playing MGP2.